What's up everyone, Darkscream217 here, and before I begin with the rest of this video, I went to MechaCon for the Friday showing. Even though it was for a short while, I had a blast, got to hang out with some of my friends, got to meet Jason David Frank, aka Tommy from Power Rangers, got an autograph from him, got to meet Richard Epcar and saw his little blooper reel, and I gotta say, if Richard Epcar is coming to a convention near you, and he's hosting a anime blooper reel, go there. It's totally worth it. It really is. I also picked up something from the dealer's room from the screen cap. It's one of those, what do they call it? Nendoroids? Yeah, those Nendoroid chibi figurines, and I decided to pick one up of Yukiko from Persona 4. Because I still like the game that much, and I completed all of Persona 4 Arena's story. And she comes with the little goofy glasses accessory, and I always thought those pairs of glasses were hilarious. Now that's all out of the way, it's time for another Tokusatsu talk vlog of mine. Once again, off the cuff. While I was at MechaCon, my buddy Windsor and some of his friends we're still kind of surprised that I've yet to see Kamen Rider Wizard, which came out almost a week ago. I just never got around to watching it. Well, at his hotel room, he popped up his laptop and we saw it there. And the first episode of Kamen Rider Wizard, I really liked it. It was definitely a better first episode than 4's, which I still have not even continued to watch. I know a lot of people told me it got better later on. It's just that I can't stand the whole Western-inspired high school setting. High school settings in general are getting on my nerves, but in the case, I didn't want to see it on a Kamen Rider series. However, Kamen Rider Wizard, the first episode, I thought it was pretty well paced. The first 5 minutes of the anime actually do open up with an action sequence. The main character is already a Kamen Rider at this point. He's pretty skilled at what he does, and the monsters in this series, known as the Phantoms, and they go after people with something called gates. And when people lose hope and despair, they start to turn into the Phantoms. And everything is just perfectly explained in the first episode. Gets us to know a little more about the main character. He's a very casual, very laid back, loves donuts. But it's so hilarious that this character is so casual, laid back. He has teleportation spells and everything. And early in the episode, he gets arrested because he mentions to the female police officer, who's probably going to be a regular character in the series, no doubt, that he too was a Phantom, and so she locked him up for that. And he could have broken out of jail any time he wanted to, but he used his teleportation magic to pick up that bag of donuts that he left on top of a post at the beginning of the episode. Well, I guess the next thing I want to talk about is the costume design for Kamen Rider Wizard. It's definitely a little more simplistic in nature as compared to 4's, and I don't know how to say the other one is. O's? Ooze? There's 3 O's, but I think I heard it pronounced as O's or whatever. Very simplistic in design. Like the little jacket, the jacket look to him. Doesn't really look much like a wizard in design. It doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised that he's supposed to be a wizard or a magician user, from judging by appearance, unlike Magi Rangers / Power Rangers Mystic Force. But I do like this costume design. You know, black, silver, and red, or his primary elemental is fire, and of course the color red. However, he does have other elementals, which he gets his powers through rings. He has some very oversized rings, I might add. And when he switches to, say, a wind elemental, all the red parts of his costume turn green. Also, his henshin belt, which is a belt with a giant black hand on it, which he uses by grabbing one of his rings and then activating a little switch on the belt, and I forgot how it works, but apparently the belt hand switches every time he presses it, but I don't know when it's supposed, I'm not sure when it's supposed to be used for what, like, if that position's just for transformation sequences or that position's for power-ups. But he puts a ring on his hand, he activates the belt does a little goofy, singing, until he actually transforms or uses a power. He just waves his actual hand with the ring over the belt, and that's how he transforms or gets some of his weapons or uses some of his magic. He's also got some elemental familiars with him. We know his fire one is like a little phoenix, but here's where things get a little bizarre. His water elemental familiar is a unicorn, and his earth elemental is a kraken. And no, that's not a flub. I'm not screwing everything up. They actually kind of got it backwards. The water elemental, a unicorn. The kraken is an earth elemental. Go watch the episode yourself. I'm not making this up. I haven't seen what his wind elemental is yet because I haven't shown it in the first episode, but I sure hope it's something contradictory like the other two I mentioned. Now, as for the Phantoms, they all have some unique designs, and there are particular foot soldiers with the Phantoms. The one this week, it was a bull, which is kind of surprising. I expected it to be a spider again, because I saw that motif in several Kamen Rider first episodes, including the original Kamen Rider back in the 1970s. But no, it was a bull this time, and they have human guises since the Phantoms were born from humans who ended up getting so much despair that they actually got consumed and turned into the Phantoms. So of course they use those human forms as guises, and they gave out a pretty obvious clue that one of the characters was the Bull Phantom later in that episode. Wouldn't be surprising at all. The clue is pretty damn obvious, well, once you see the first episode. Now, as for the Rider Kick, his signature finisher move, I thought he was kind of metrosexual enough as it is, but now he's giving the main character from Star Driver a run for his money. Because when he activated his Rider Kick, it might be a subtitle error or something like that, but when he was starting it up, the belt actually said, "Fabulous!" So I got a good kick out of that. The Rider Kick itself is pretty cool. It basically just sets his leg on fire and does the little dive kick like every Kamen Rider does. Hits the enemy blows into flames. It was one of the cooler looking Rider Kicks I've seen as of recent. So those are my first impressions of Kamen Rider Wizard. I really enjoyed it so far. It does have the potential to be a really good Heisei era Rider show, and I hope to continue more of it in the future. And that is my Tokusatsu Talk video. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded one in a while. It's just that I haven't seen much of the shows recently. But I hope to get back into it again. Leave a comment if you wish. Darkscream217 signing out.